Walk with me.
A wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. A man shall eat by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that opened wide his lips shall have destruction. The soul of a sluggard desireth, and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome, and he cometh to shame. Righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. There is that maketh himself rich, yet hath nothing. There is that maketh himself poor, yet hath great riches. The ransom of a man's life are his riches, but the poor heareth not rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Whosoever despises the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from snares of death. A good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. Every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly. A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fool to depart from evil. He that walketh with the wise shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. Proverbs chapter 13. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray according from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. All praises, all praises, all praises would give God the glory and the glory and the glory, for he is worthy to be praised. Even he that is called by many names, but yet he says to Moses, I am that I am, in the language that he's spoken. Yes, I am that I am. So we call him the I am. In other languages, he's called Yahweh. Some people think he's Yahusha and all this other stuff. But the fact is, you have a legitimate claim according to your understanding. All praises to the Most High. And also, we thank God of those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you who have been with us here and there's about, and those of you who have subscribed, and those of you who have just subscribed. And we thank God for those of you who are thinking about subscribing, as well as those of you who are just viewing. We thank God for you, and we call those things that are not as though they are. You're walking with Mr. Clay, and I'm Mr. Clay. Yes, yes, yes. We're in the book of Ezra, the book of Ezra. The book of Ezra, chapter 7. Chapter 7 of the book of Ezra. Yes, Ezra was one who was going back to renovate, repair, restore the temple that King Solomon built. Yes, renovate, repair, and restore. That the Most High may be praised, that their king, the king of all Israel, even all the earth, all mankind, the universe, the king of the universe according to human understanding of what a king is, but the creator of all things went lacking for the foolishness of mankind, even the children of Jacob, to want that which was idolary. You have a lot of deception going throughout the earth about what is idolary. And many starts with, they say, some people in way back when worship the idols, or they worship many gods and all these other things, and then they talk about the concept of one God. This is to confuse you. They're already confused and led astray. The Most High have already done that. He's done that even in the book of Jubilees, before even Moses was on the scene. He dispatched spirits that they might go and lead other nations astray away from his people. But the fact is, the children of Jacob started following the people that were led astray and thinking that their gods were greater. See, you have so many dogmas, you have so many doctrines and teachings out here about different spirits and different peoples, and you have one YouTuber talking about, well, I hear the thunder and the wind blowing and must be the Anunnaki fighting. If they appeared at one time, why can't they appear now? They appear fighting in a different realm, but the earth is benefiting with their rantings. Give me a break. Idolatry is in many forms. Science. God gives you science. Yes, he does. Because God has allowed everything to be, as I often say, God has given everything laws. The law of the blood is to give life to the body, to carry different parts of the body, things to the body, nutrients and all these things. I'm not a doctor or that deep into it, but the fact is that that's what the law that God have established for the blood does. It carries life, it brings oxygen and nutrients and everything throughout the body. And then you have the law of the sun that shines. And man talks his junk about the sun, but you can say how the sun is made. This is the law of the Most High, but how is that being done? How is these gases and all things suddenly be culminated in one sphere and then giving light to a whole universe? Tell me something. How is that being held together? You got your theories. Yeah, God give you part of his law that that to help you to understand, but yet you come like you have some divine, or you are divine above the Most High. You have these ignorant people that have sit up there and have worshiped dogs and rats and cats and bears and everything else, attributed them to what happens in natures and all this other stuff. That's not it. There is only one God. He created all these things. He created an ecosystem on the earth. He created all things. Yet the dog or the rat or the roach or the frog does not question God and what he has put in them, but only one being, and that is mankind. But nevertheless, and now we are faced with wars all over the place. This is God preparing something. Watch God. Read this. You are trying to hurry God with all your junk. Many, you hear the preachers, you hear the sayers and those who call themselves religious, trying to take, not even in the faith of Abraham, they are trying to compare what is happening with and making a prediction or making a prophecy. Many of you are prophesying out of your spirit. Some of you have just read the word of God and you have dreams and stuff, but you're not verifying these things with God. Something's wrong with you. But let's read about Ezra. Ezra chapter 7 and verse 1. Now after these things, in the reign of Xerxes, king of Persia, Ezra the son of Sariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Shalom, the son of Zadok, the son of Ahitub, the son of Amariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Miraoth, the son of Zeriah, the son of Uzi, the son of Buki, the son of Abusha, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the chief priest. This is the seed line. The seed line. Yes, I did say it. You got these naysayers. Oh, we're talking about DNA. That's only to identify that you're part of that seed line. He ain't talking about no egg line. He's talking about a seed line. Now, we know that Ezra is out of the line of Aaron. So therefore, he is to be a high priest. And this is where the line of the high priest comes from. From the line or the seed line of Aaron. And he has really shown his way by knowing his genealogy. And this thing, the heathen have known this, so they destroyed the genealogies. They separated the elder from the younger. They did all these things in order to destroy the genealogies of the children of Jacob. And also, this is the prayer that Jeremiah, or should I say Daniel, had acknowledged. To us belong confusion of faces. In other words, you're lost as far as your genealogy is concerned. But he says, turn to the law. See, one thing about the child of Jacob, God is going to draw that child of Jacob back to the law, not to know Jesus, but to the law, which is the way, the truth, and the life we should live. The rest are lost in blindness, and to be bidden by the Most High to come out of that blindness is a great honor from the Most High. He has chosen you to come out of the darkness of that 27 books and all that it contains, and those side books and all this other stuff, back to the law. Just the law will give you much more wisdom. People will call you a Judaizer. They will call you all kind of names. I've been called that all the time. They will call you all kind of names, even to the point where they even say, well, you need to come to Christ. You need to understand you're going to hell, just like the Jews are. But they lied on the Jews. It was the Romans that killed them. Did the Jews really go to and say crucify him, or is the book fake? Check out the Pisos. If you can get a book about the Pisos and how they constructed the New Testament. Very cunning. But this can only be assisted by devils, fallen spirits, you call demons and Satans. There is no one Satan, again and again. I can never say it enough. There is many Satans. There is no one of nothing, because God has allowed us himself to only be one, whereas others are created beings. And there are many of them. Now, he has established himself to be of the line of Aaron. And in verse 6 he says, this Ezra went up from Babylon, and he was a ready scribe in the law of Moses. In other words, he made sure that he knew what God required of him. He understood the law. He says, which the I am God of Israel had given the king, granted him all his requests according to the hand of the I am that was upon him. In other words, Xerxes had This says, well, you can say Xerxes. Sometimes it says Xerxes. This says Artaxerxes. But either way, the hand of God was upon Xerxes. And Xerxes began to make a decree that the children of Judah should return back and restore, repair, and rebuild the temple of the Most High, who was glorious and well favored and honored forever and ever. You know, it might not be among men, but he has a whole entourage and marriage of spirits that worship and praise him and adore him. Yes, he does. As well as those here on earth who have chosen to just adore him regardless and follow his law regardless of what they have attached to it, like those 27 books and all those things that do not even agree with the laws, statutes, and commandments and ordinances of the Most High. Now, he says now in verse 7, and there went up from the children of Israel and of the priests and of the Levites and the singers and the porters and the Nethinims unto Jerusalem in the 7th year of Xerxes the king. He was the king of Persia, yes. And he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. Now, the 5th month. He came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was the 7th year of the reign of the king. This is the fifth month in that year after the new moon. That 5th new month. Have you heard the Indians say many moons? Or some, even the $5 have copied them and said the same thing. Many moons. They didn't never say many suns. This is not only the Bantu way, this is also the native Indians, which look like Bantu. Yeah, they look like Bantu. They look like me. And if you look like me, they look like you. Many moons. I want you to take that into a consideration. In other words, everything was done or orchestrated by the moon. You have the new moon, the full moon, the quarter moon, the crescent moon. Oh, you had moons. Yes, you did. All praises to the Most High. He created the moon and the sun that man might know to number his days. Now, that could be confusing. He didn't say how long you should live or how long you've lived, but how to tell how many moons it's going to be before the crops can come, or how many moons that when the sea level rises. Come on here. And verse 8, and he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. Now, for upon the 1st day of the 1st month, he began to go up from Babylon, and from the 1st day of the month, of the 5th month came he to Jerusalem according to the good hand of his God upon him. He's still talking about Ezra. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the I Am. Note that. We have to, what did he say? Seek ye the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Come on here. Seek ye the law of the Most High, which is righteousness. How you going to seek a kingdom and you don't know what that kingdom requires of you? Hey, I'm getting like my Nigerian friends. Seek the law of the I Am. You don't need to seek no kingdom. You don't even know where the kingdom is. They tell you, but they don't even in that raggedy New Testament, it don't even tell you what that is. You seek the law of the I Am, as Ezra. He prepared his heart to seek the law of the I Am. That is righteousness. It will contend unto righteousness. Come on here. You got a problem. They don't want you to seek this law because it will make you one who would slap them back. It would make you one who would stand up for what is right. It would make you one that will love those who seeking the same thing and respect them. Because you know that if you do something wrong to them, they're going to do it back to you. This law. The law is also, even the angels in Jubilee said we follow the same law. they do. Now, in Jasher, well, Jubilees noted an angel talking to Moses. Now, Xerxes, king of kings, that said praise unto him, unto Ezra the priest, the scribe. Well, let's go back to where we was. He sought the law of the I Am, and to teach in Israel the statutes and judgment. You can't teach, even though the law is written in the book, these people will not understand it. Many around you, your family members, the people that call themselves, and you see that the church or the Christianity is trying to hide itself in the guise of using the law. And some of them even call themselves Israelites and still going by this paganistic thing of the New Testament. It's pagan. There is no other man beside God. The story is fixed up according to as God allowed it to be fixed up, to draw you and turn you backwards, that you might violate the first commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me, but yet you bow to your Jesus. Then you name him Yahweh, then you name him Yahusha. Yes, you're going to do that. You're going to do it. So he says now this is the copy of the letter that King Xerxes gave to Ezra the priest, the scribe, even a scribe of the words of the commandments of the I Am and of his statutes to Israel. And then they said in Exodus chapter 19, as coming in, he gave this before the nation was even formed, the land was even occupied, to say, hey, this is how you're going to govern this land. You don't get it. He didn't say this is how your religion is going to be. And for me, you're going to worship me. This is how you worship me. This was law. But it's past. This Jesus cannot be your king. He's not even giving you a law. He's coming paraphrasing everything God says and telling you God ain't right and everything else, according to their narrative. Yes. So that makes him exist? No, it doesn't make him exist. It's a figment of your imagination, a fairy tale. But this God here. Now Xerxes, king of kings, in verse 12, unto Ezra, priest, a scribe of the law of the God of heaven, perfect peace, and at such time. Yes. I make a decree that all they of the people of Israel and of his priests and Levites in my realm, which are minded of their own free will to go up to Jerusalem, go with thee. For as much as thou hadst sent of the king and of his 7 counselors to inquire concerning Judah and Jerusalem, according to the law of thy God, which is in thine hand. So he's giving him the law. And to carry the silver and gold which the king and his counselors have freely offered unto the God of Israel, whose habitation is in Yasharal or Jerusalem. Now, in the language, it had to be in the Persian language transcribed into the Hebrew language. Now, it wouldn't sound like this. So they had to make this here. What I'm reading to you and us, according to our understanding, is what these translators have did to help you understand what they were saying. So they say. And they had to put it in a way that, in a sentence structure that would make sense to us. It wouldn't make, if you read it in, if we were to put the words down the way you understand it, you couldn't understand it. They would be backwards and jumbled and all of this. So therefore, it had to be translated into this and made into sentence structures that can be identified as English. Now, verse 16, and all the silver and gold that thou canst find in all the province of Babylon, with the furial offering of the people of the priest offering willingly for the house of their God which is in Jerusalem, that thou mayest buy speedily with his money bullocks, rams, lambs, and of their meat offerings and their drink offerings, and to offer upon the altar of the house of your God which is in Jerusalem. Now these things, God had to do this before he even offered this, before God even knew that. He had to multiply the livestock in the region, so that they may buy. See, a person might see that a year before that or a few years before that. How are they going to sacrifice all them bullocks? God multiplied all that stuff, the lambs, the sheep, the rams, and all this. He multiplied them. And whatsoever shall seem good to thee and to thy brethren to do with the rest of the silver and gold, that do after the will of your God. Now he made sure you do it after the will that God, how God instructs you. Verse 19, and the vessels that are given thee for the service of the house of thy God dost thou deliver thou before the God of Jerusalem. See, he didn't know there was a whole, he knew there was a whole Israel, but they were taken into Babylon aforetime. Now, and whatsoever more shall be needful for the house of thy God, that which thou have occasion to bestow, bestow it out of the king's treasure house. In other words, it's on me, take it. This belongs to God anyway. God have just given him leeway, just like he did here in this land, to take people and bring them into the land of what is called Americas, out of Egypt into Egypt again with ships. Many don't understand the concept of why you see Egyptians' artifacts and pyramids in this, on this side of the globe. They used to be able to walk not through no rams. That's stupid. They walked right across the land. It was one land at one time. Pyramids predate here than they do in Egypt. So that lets you know that they were able to walk across the top part. If you look at it, the United States it would overlap. If you look at the map of Pangaea, it would overlap. It would overlap. Yes, it would. In that time, if it was in that region, it would be neither hot. It would be hot. It wouldn't be cold. There would be no winter in that region. So you have to leave this science alone. Some of them are just hypothesizing and everything else, and then they write it though it's concrete. But I go by God's word. I go by the Torah, or whatever they call it, the Old Testament, the Septuagint, before this whole thing. See, there's some things in the Old Testament that just strike the whole New Testament out the box. Even in the book of Enoch, where they took the tongues and made them out of the tongues of fire in your book of, don't let them fool you. They found the Dead Sea Scrolls and this and that. The book of Enoch been around for a long time. They just kept it back from the populace. Now, whosoever more shall be needful of the house, in verse 21, he says, even I, Xerxes the king, do make a decree to all the treasurers which are beyond the river. And he's talking about the Euphrates. And whosoever, Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law of the God of heaven, shall require of you, be it done speedily. And unto 100 talents of silver, and 100 measures of wheat, and to 100 baths of wine, and to 100 baths of oil, and salt, without prescribing how much, whatsoever is commanded by the God of heaven. In other words, who am I to deny the God of heaven, the God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Who am I? Give him everything. They ain't talking about your tithes and offerings to no preacher that's going to buy him a Lamborghini and a jet airplane and you go starving. No, he's not talking about it. He's talking about the God of heaven to be burnt up and just turned into smoke and just into the air, which you think is useless. Okay. Now, for why should there be wrath against the realm of the king and his sons? You see, the sacrifices and offerings are not done away with. They're still supposed to be done. But being given in this thing, you have this religion of Christianity and Islam and all this which prohibit this. And all these other side hustles. Now, in some places they will sacrifice a lamb or a bullock. Over in Africa, not here in the United States or South America, you don't see that much. and to burn it up and just to let it go, the smoke just rise into the sky, which they call heaven. He says, now, let it be diligently done for the house of God. In verse 23, for why should there be wrath against the realm of the king, and his sons? In other words, I don't want to bring God's anger on me. He's already blessed me to take you and subdue all my enemies. So, he ain't even serving God. But why did God do this? Deuteronomy chapter 28. Leviticus 26, you can read that too. God ain't playing. But you just can't imagine that this has been. But then you have these heathen here that they boast themselves against you, and now it's time for God is bringing them down. He's causing their ranks to be diminished. He's tying up their wounds and he's deleting them left and right. Even so, he says, the nations before me are nothing, they're less than nothing. So relax, get some power. Verse 24. Also we certify you that as touching any of the priests and Levites, singers and porters, Nethinims or ministers of this house of God, it shall not be lawful to impose toil, tribute, or custom upon them. And that thou, Ezra, after the wisdom of thy God that is in thine hand, set magistrate judges, which may judge all the people that are beyond the rivers, as such as know the laws of thy God, and teach ye them that know them not. And whosoever will not do the law of thy God, the law of the king, he's calling God the king, let judgment be executed speedily upon him, whether it be unto death, or unto banishment, or to confiscation of goods, or to imprisonment. Now, 27, blessed be the I am, our God of our fathers, which have put such a thing as in the king's hearts, to beautify the house of the I am, which is in Jerusalem, or Yasharal, and hath extended mercy unto me before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty princes. And I was strengthened in the hand of the I am, my God was upon me. And I gathered together out of Israel chief men to go up with me. If we do those things, as he says, seek you first the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High, it will make you free, because it is the truth. Make you free. It's not going to set you free. It will make you free. Freeing your mind to do that which pleases the Most High. See, they have mixed this stuff up, and now you're all screwed up, Christian. You're all screwed up, Islamist. God got you. God already got this. It's all contained in His laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. Now, first, we seek out those whom God has designated, or who are the true Levitical priests. And God knows this, and He will lead His people to find out, and He will cleanse the sons of Levi as He has promised. Why would He promise to cleanse the sons of Levi when what? But yet you replace it with a church, you replace circumcision with your baptism, you replace your Holy Spirit with just knowing the law and obeying that which is right in the law. I mean, they replaced it all. But God ain't to be mocked. Whatsoever the church had done, it's sown, it's going to reap. And that's what you're reaping now. Your preachers are molesting your children, and you're laying with your wives and deacons and all these other things. No such thing as no deacon. That's Christian stuff. All these are nothing but Christianity wrapped up in Israelitism. That's all that is. Follow the law. The law. And if we do those things, we will have
walk with me.